But today, those over 50 account for more than 70% of all assets in this country and net worth. And that's a lot of power. I'm Pat Walker for Money Talks. Take care.
Now stay tuned for high school wrestling action. The season premiere, Easton versus Nazareth, next, right here on Cable 4.
The critics raved and audiences cheered for the surprise smash hit of 1990. And viewers' choice has got it.
Pretty woman, walking down the street. Pretty woman, the kind I like to meet. Pretty woman.
Pretty Woman. It's pretty amazing how easy it is to order on viewers' choice. Give yourself a lift. Order the blockbuster hit Pretty Woman at home on viewers' choice.
Pretty woman.
Hi, I'm Charles Tan. Please join us on the Mandarin Chef Chinese Cooking Show. Tuesday at 8 p.m., Wednesday at 7:30 on Twin County Cable 4.
From the Nazareth Blue Eagle Gymnasium in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, Twin County Cable 4 Sports presents wrestling. Tonight it's high school wrestling, and two of the finest in the state of Pennsylvania will go at it again this evening. It's the Easton Red Rovers under head coach Steve Powell, as they will take on the Nazareth Blue Eagles under head coach Ray Nunemaker. Hello, everybody. I'm Gary Laubach, and Scott Barr with us again as we start the 1990-91 wrestling season. And I'll tell you, we have just a super group of wrestling matches coming your way this year, and we'll start it all off with this big one here tonight. The Blue Eagles come in. They've won 34 consecutive dual meets. They are ranked #1 by the Morning Call and by the Easton Express. And yet, Scott, oddly enough, both of those newspapers have picked them to lose tonight's match.
And I think I've done the same thing. If you see my top 10 list later on, I have Nazareth on top, and I expect Easton to win as well. The matchups didn't come out the way Ray Nunemaker would have liked. Steve Powell has come in with a stronger lineup than we would have expected coming into this. And you couple that with the dramatic losses that Nazareth has taken, the fact that Danny Madsen is out, and the fact that their 103-pounder couldn't make weight tonight, it should add up to an Easton win.
You know, we talk about these two teams and their tradition, but in reality, we've got a lot of new faces here on both sides. And maybe both teams somewhat untested about how good they really are.
Well, you know, they really have to be untested. You look at Easton or at Nazareth JVs last year, and they were undefeated, but that's JV competition. Easton probably has more experience coming back on the mats than Nazareth, but it's not great experience. They're wrestlers that come back with barely a 500 record between them. Nazareth wrestlers, on the other hand, have won about 60% of their matches for those wrestlers coming back. But you're right, brand new faces on both sides. We had to go back and see how they did on JVs last year to find out how they're going to match up here tonight. Should be interesting.
We talk about new faces for Easton and new faces for Nazareth. It's a new face year for the entire district. We really don't have a lot of people back who were district champions last year.
Not a lot. We have one in the East Penn Conference, and he'll be here tonight, Steve Calandra of Easton. In fact, if you count all of the semifinalists at districts, there are only 3 back above 152 pounds. That's all of the semifinalists, and only one of them is healthy that placed last year, and that's Howie Miller. If you want a lock on a district champ, it's Howie Miller.
So you're going to have all kinds of difficulty putting together an individual roster this year in terms of your very best.
Last year, you could go down almost every weight and pick who was going to do what. This year, I don't think you can pick beyond one weight where things will fall out. You can't pick one team where things will fall out. It seems that we've really cut off the top shelf. We had a super group of outstanding, real horses last year. And with the exception of 3 teams, Catasauqua, Whitehall, and Wilson, everybody was just devastated by graduation. Those 3 teams are really sitting pretty this year. Everybody else is way down.
With all of that, they're, of course, still talking about Easton and Northampton and Phillipsburg as being the top in the East Penn Conference. Nazareth is certainly going to get a battle in the Colonial League from Caddy and perhaps Wilson, and we'll be following that all along. Right now, let's take a look at tonight's matchups, and we'll discuss them, and we'll see how important they are. Of course, Easton without a Moss Grays, Dan Gaffredo, Joe Malakian, they're not back, and Mike Miller, Mike Hersick, Brad Sillenperry, they're all going for the Blue Eagles. So you'll see a lot of new names in here, and we start at 103, and already a story there, Gino Cerulli from Easton against Sean Topping. And that's a bit of a change because we didn't expect to see Sean Topping.
Yeah, Tashner should have been in there. Tashner probably the most highly regarded 103-pounder since Brad Sillenperry, maybe. It's unfair to make comparisons to Brad, an outstanding wrestler. But Tashner couldn't make weight. Ray thought it was best not to force the issue. He's a freshman enjoying success, and he wants him back for the years to come. Ray's not upset with it, but he's got Sean Topping in there tonight, a freshman 0-1.
Has to be a key match now of the evening because Tashner and Cerulli probably would have really gone at it, maybe a toss-up. It's not a toss-up now, is it?
You had to figure, in fact, Tashner to win against Cerulli. You've got to figure Cerulli to beat Topping tonight.
All right, we go to 112 pounds. Torrey Bergio against Ben Fry. Two good wrestles. Bergio so far has been outstanding. He won the Crestwood tournament.
He was pretty good last year as a freshman. He just ran into one stud after another for most of his losses. Torrey Bergio, everybody's going to say, is much improved this year. Even if he didn't improve at all, his record would, because all those horses are gone. Torrey Bergio is one tough wrestler. Glad to see he stayed at 112. He's looking good there. Pick Bergio for the win.
We have Tim Reel against Chad Feichtel. Is Easton going to win the first three?
I think so. I think Timmy Reel is looking good. He was in fact, the Keystone game we saw this summer. Did a good job there. He worked out in the offseason. He's a new wrestler this year. His freshman year, he had a great year. Last year, he didn't have a great year. This year, I think you'll see the real Timmy Reel.
All right, let's move on to the next three. 125. Well, the next two. We've got Tyler Purdy up there against Ryan Nunemaker. This may be the top matchup of the night.
I'll tell you, it looks like it on paper, but Ryan Nunemaker has got to be one of the bona fide studs in the conference right now. 5th in the state last year, unexpectedly. He's going to come back. He's going to get a lot of pins. I think he'll win here tonight. Tyler Purdy, 5-0. Still maybe just not enough to go with Ryan Nunemaker.
Purdy, the Crestwood champion. Nunemaker was the Williamsport champion and most outstanding wrestler in that tournament, so that should be a beauty. 130, Jason Root against Todd Kalina. Root may be the favorite.
Root went among about the same Root as Reel did. He had a great year 2 years ago, had a bad year last year. I think, again, you'll see Jason Root come alive this year. Jason Root should win the bout against Kalino. Kalino's been around for a long time, and he will throw that spladle if Root doesn't watch it.
Scott's got Easton winning 4 of the first 5. Let's move on. 135, 140, and 145. Craig Jones of Easton against Steve Hersick of Nazareth. Another top quality matchup.
That's going to be a real interesting one. Craig Jones, very unorthodox wrestler, very slick. Steve Hersick from that Hersick family, tough wrestler, did well last year. I think he took 3rd in the districts. I think Hersick will win this one, but it can't be a lock.
Greg Geiger against Keith Meitcher, another interesting matchup.
Another one. Greg Geiger didn't finish the year last year with a bad shoulder. I've got Geiger to win that one just because Meitcher doesn't have a whole lot of experience. He's 4-1 here. Geiger had a whole year of varsity experience.
All right, we've got Steve Calandra, one of the most outstanding wrestlers in the district. He's already 5-0. He's already a Crestwood champion. Sean McAlone at 4-1.
We mentioned earlier, Calandra, the only returning district champ in the East Penn Conference against McAlone, one of Nazareth's top wrestlers. Won 21 matches last year. Calandra really came alive at the end of the year. Didn't have a super dual meet season. If he starts out the way he ended last year, he's going to have a super year. I've got him to win against McAlone.
All right, we move to 152 pounds. Eric Thompson, a freshman, against Matt Sillenperry, only a junior. Sillenperry at 3-3, and again, Easton looks favored.
Easton looks good here. Eric Thompson, just a freshman. I've got Sillenperry to win just on a hunch. He looks good. He looks firm. I saw him working out this week. I've got Sillenperry to win just to kind of make it interesting in my own mind. See if Nazareth had a chance to win. This is one of those toss-up matches that I give Nazareth the benefit of the doubt, and really, in fact, it might not turn out that way.
With all the shifting around that Steve Powell did tonight, he was faced with having to put somebody in at 160. He's found Rich Dugan. Rich Dugan only has one varsity bout under his belt in his career, that last year in the district team tournament, and he comes in 0-0.
Yeah, but they met last year. Mark Madsen and Richie Dugan met last year in JVs. Madsen beat Dugan 8-6. So you can't consider Madsen a prohibitive favorite. I've got him favored, but he can't be real comfortable about that.
All right, 171, Keith Heimbach against Darren Wenrich. Wenrich is tough, and Heimbach's tough.
Wenrich is real tough. We saw him throw a spladle last year. I think we saw about 12 of those last year. Wenrich looks real good, real tough wrestler, very slick. If he keeps his head on this year, he's going to have an outstanding year. I've got him for the win, probably for bonus points.
All right, 189, Jeff Euler against Paul Wickman. Euler only a junior, Wickman is a senior. And again, you might have to lean towards the underclass.
I'm thinking Jeff Euler is having a super year. He's a good-looking athlete. He's only in his 3rd or 4th year of wrestling. This is another one of those toss-up matches that I have given to Nazareth just to see how close it would come out. I think Euler's got a real shot at this. And, of course, in the back of your mind, you've got to remember, at this weight class, Dan Madsen has weighed in.
Well, that's something we should remember. Dan Madsen, of course, with a knee injury. And he has weighed in at that weight. He has not wrestled this year. At heavyweight, Brian Bergfeld, a junior. Jim Lutz, a senior for Nazareth. Is it going to come down to this match?
I don't think it will. And if it does, you got to like Easton's chances. They drew last year, these two, Lutz and Bergfeld. Bergfeld then went on the rest of the year at heavyweight in the East Penn Conference. By all accounts, got his butt kicked. I think you can ask him, and he'll tell you that. But that was good for him this year. This year he'll come back, and next year. In fact, the top 3 weight classes here are all juniors for Steve Powell. He's got to love that. And, in fact, I think they've already matched their cumulative victory total. So they've improved dramatically. If it comes down to heavyweight, you got to like Easton.
Easton was 11-8 last year. Certainly a down year for them. Nazareth at 20-0. Is the streak going to end tonight? 34 in a row for Ray Nonamaker. Is this it?
He told me if we get to 35, we've really done some doing. And that's the truth. And we were talking earlier, and he said last year he didn't get a chance to appreciate what he really had. And I look at it as kind of the jewel in the crown for Nazareth. They've had a super, well, you say a super tradition, but before Ray Nonamaker, it wasn't tradition. Easton has the long tradition going back forever, it seems. And I'll tell you, I've got Easton to win this. I really do. But Nazareth has a shot. They really have a shot.
Well, all the media experts, I guess, are picking the Easton Red Rovers. Nothing happens until the points go up on the board. We know you're going to sit back, relax, and enjoy the best of high school wrestling. Right here on TV4 Sports. We'll be right back.
The Money Store Prime Package is here. For a limited time, homeowners can celebrate the holiday season with a home equity loan as low as Prime.
Prime? Hey, you can't beat that.
Imagine fixed rates as low as Prime.
What can I do with the money?
Pay off credit card bills, buy a new car, anything you want.
Trust the Money Store to give homeowners a Prime package when they need it most. But it all ends soon, so call the Money Store right now. 1-800-LOAN-YES.
Hiya, I'm Sam Rosolino. My family and I welcome to Palmer Nursery. Want to light up Palmer Park Mall.
With over 20 years' experience, the Palmer Nursery is backed with honor by the Rosolino name because our family cares about quality. Right now, we have a wide selection of fresh-cut Christmas trees, wreaths, grave blankets, ribbons, garland, and spectacular poinsettias. Our shop is filled with holiday and gift ideas. Come visit us and have a happy holiday.
Viewer's Choice invites you to Betsy's Wedding. It won't be your average affair because this is not your average family.
This is a family of lunatics.
Thank you.
One daughter's a cop.
I just love arresting people.
The other one's from Mars. And him, he's a real peach.
Alan Alda, Madeline Kahn, Molly Ringwald, Ali Sheedy, and Joe Pesci in Betsy's Wedding. Don't miss out on the affair of the season. Order Betsy's Wedding on Viewer's Choice.
Welcome back to the Nazareth Blue Eagle Gymnasium. We've got a packed house here tonight for this all-important matchup. You see referee Gene Wass, who is out there with the captains, and we have a plethora of captains out there tonight. We also kind of had an interesting situation in an exhibition bout here earlier on, as you will get a look at a Nazareth Blue Eagle wrestler and a young lady, Scott, wrestling for the Easton Junior High program. So our hats off to her. She worked very hard. She did end up getting pinned, and there is the fall, but she certainly had the females in the audience rooting for her.
She really did. The whole now crowd was on their feet. And I'll tell you, she was on her back a number of times to get off her back. A lot of strength there, a lot of courage just to get out there.
Well, it's time for the real thing. No exhibition here. We start at 103 pounds. For Easton, it'll be Gino Cerulli, a junior, 4-1. As you look at referee Gene Wass, he'll take on Sean Topping, a freshman, 0-1 in the year. he is in there because the starter, Dan Tashner, Nazareth, highly touted Nazareth freshman, 4-0-1 on the year, did not make weight for tonight's contest. So it's Easton against Nazareth, 103 pounds here. The call about the voice of our wrestling. That's Scott Barr.
And you know Steve Powell has got to be disappointed if he doesn't come out of here with bonus points. Nazareth, sharp new uniforms there from last year. They had the solid blue. This year with Nazareth printed across the front. There's a two-point takedown for Cerulli right on the edge as they go off the edge. A couple rule changes will come into effect this year. You may get a takedown with just your toes inbounds, and we'll get to that if that situation develops. Also, you'll notice that you'll get 2 cautions before a point is scored, and that'll happen all year long as those 2 rules just went into effect this year. Gino Cerulli, a junior, comes in at 4-1. Wrestled a lot of JV last year, as most of the competitors here tonight did. Very unusual, Scott, to see a junior at 103 pounds. They usually make their way right up the weights, but Gino is there, and he already checked with Steve Powell about letting Sean Topping up. There's a good rolling headlock by Cerulli. He locked that up. He'll get at least 2. I'm not sure if there's 3 points there, but there's a 2-point near fall by Cerulli. Real nice move. Used to call that a flying headlock. I'm not sure what they call it now. You just tie up the leg, clamp on the headlock, and roll on through. Exposure points counted as Cerulli looks good.
So we're 1 minute and 3 seconds into tonight's matchup. Easton leads in this bout by a 4-0 score.
Arm and wrist called potentially dangerous by Gene Wass. Cerulli totally dominating this bout. You know, you got to figure Cerulli with as good a chance as anybody to advance in postseason competition. 103, as many of the weights, wide open. You never know who's going to drop there from 12. But according to everybody in the preseason, 103 and heavyweight, the bookend weights are really wide open.
A lot of the heavier weights are wide open, it appears.
It really does. I mean, you have to figure Howie Miller. You got to figure Dan Madsen to be back by then. And in districts, you look at Aaron Costner from East Stroudsburg, who was the champ last year. There's a warning for stalling against Topping. But besides those 3, there really is very, very little. In fact, the only other one that reached the semifinals above 160 or above 152 is Victor Burton from Allen, and he never placed.
There's an escape by Topping. Topping now trails 4-1. Come back into the center of the mat with 3 seconds on the clock. And it appears as if period number 1 will end with Cerulli holding a 4-1 lead. Good crowd on hand, not too many empty seats. In fact, if everybody sat down, this place would be jam-packed.
There's still some places along the wall we're too deep. And every time we're at Nazareth, we got a huge crowd right on the edge of the mat. And we got 2 cameras. We have a video cam. We have the Nazareth cheerleaders, and now the JV cheerleaders line up behind them. And we have an express photographer, and just all over the place. There's a nice ankle pick. Cerulli looks good on his feet. You mentioned Cerulli being a junior. Remember last year, one of the big losses Nazareth suffered, their 98-pounder was a senior. Dave Connors went 25-8 last year. I believe reached the district finals.
Rich Snyder of Easton did not come out this year. He's a senior. There's an escape by Topping. Snyder, of course, would have probably been, Scott, around 112 or 119, one would think.
I think we were figuring him back at 103, in fact. He didn't get much above that, maybe weighed 108 or 109 during the summer. But he definitely could have gone at either weight. So that hurts this Easton squad. Cerulli out the back door. Boy, is he impressive. He's got every move he needs down there.
So start out neutral. 6-2, Cerulli leads Topping. Topping only a freshman. Ray Nunemaker trying to avoid any bonus points here early on. They could prove to be very important later on.
Another ankle pick, cross ankle pick attempted by Cerulli. Trying to bring that head and arm down and then reach. Instead just goes with an easy shrug off the edge of the mat. remember that warning for stalling against Topping, and he's not working very hard on his feet. You might see another one. One of the points of emphasis always, every year, is to make sure those warnings for stalling are handed out pretty freely. Cerulli in again. Needs to work on finishing off these moves. He goes underneath, gets the leg, has the takedown.
Scott, I guess the situation with the referees hasn't changed very much. There's Gene Wass again with the biggest match of the evening. And he's there. Of course, there's a big match taking place between Northampton and Catasauqua tonight that will probably have people turning to sports pages tomorrow very quickly when they get up in the morning.
I'll tell you, Catasauqua has the most well-balanced team, I believe, in the district, AA or AAA. There's a caution against Cerulli. Didn't have his hand on the navel. Now, there's one caution. Remember, you need now 2 cautions, and then points begin to be scored. I was saying Catasauqua was easily the best balanced team. They may not, and haven't looked carefully enough at the whole district, they might not generate a district champ out of that lineup, but they're going to win an awful lot of bouts.
We will get a look at Scott Farr's top 10 picks when we get a break in the action here tonight. And it's already in the can, so we can't change it as this bout progresses.
And you know, that used to be a whole preseason team, a pick at every weight. But to be honest, there's just no pick in heavyweight. There's no pick at a lot of weights. These kids are just going to go out there and go after one another all year long. You just can't pick who's going to be outstanding throughout the year. So I've reverted to the top 10 list, and that'll change every broadcast.
Should create a lot of interest when we get to districts. 2 periods have gone by. Gino Cerulli leads Sean Topping of Nazareth by an 8-2 score.
Chooses neutral.
Scott, our first matchup of the year. You might want to talk about the bonus points and how they're acquired.
8 to 12 points would be a major, 8 to 15 points would be a major decision. That would be 14 points. There's another warning for stalling against Sean Topping. That's a penalty point for Gino Cerulli.
9-2, Cerulli.
The wrestler gets ahead by 15 points. The match will be ended for a technical fall worth 15 points and a physical fall where the shoulders are on the mat for a count of 2, uninterrupted count of 2. That'll be a fall, and that's 16 points.
Stalemate called by Gene Wass. They'll come back, start in a neutral position.
But our fans knew all that.
So they now know that Cerulli is 1 point away from bonus points.
Topping just walked off the edge of the mat. That could have been called either way on that. Topping had the leg and walked off the edge of the mat. That has been discussed at officials' meetings. When a wrestler leaves the mat to avoid wrestling, which seemed obvious there, that should be a point for the other wrestler. Cerulli looking for a big move. He needs to get the takedown, secure the major decision at least, and then go for the big move. He's got both arms tied up. Great move here. Nice takedown. Boy, he worked for that one real nice. Tied up both arms, went under, hit the roll. Having a lot of success on his feet. That's his 4th takedown.
Score 11-2 in favor of Cerulli.
Going for the spladle. Wouldn't that be an irony?
A lot of time on the clock, 42 seconds. 3rd period.
He's going to pull him right over on himself if he's not careful. There's the spladle. There's the takedown. Topping way off the mat, though.
Steve Powell right here in front of us. There's going to be 2 near fall points. The spladle is broken. It is 15-3. Cerulli. So he is 3 points away from a tech fall. I think Steve Powell said let him up.
I think he did. He's going to need a few takedowns here. There's another caution against Cerulli. That's his 2nd caution now. And you're going to hear it from the crowd. Listen to this. They all want a point. The new rule, of course, 2 cautions. And then we start to penalize.
Now, this is where you can really use a PA announcer, Scott, to announce to the people about that new rule.
And you know, Gene Wass is out there on the mat just laughing to himself. This could do it. This could do it. He's got it. 4, 5.
buzzer. So Cerulli wins it 18-3. Gets the tech ball at the buzzer. Easton on top by a 5-0 score. We'll be right back.
When I first tried drugs, it seemed kind of fun. But after a while, I knew I was losing control, so I quit. I've tried quitting 3 times since then. In only 2 years, I've lost everything I ever cared about. My life is a mess. I need control again.
Call your friends at the Central Assembly of God, 1300 Eaton Avenue in Bethlehem, 865-0577.
We are back. We are at 112 pounds. Easton in red, Tori Bergio, a sophomore, 5-0 on the year, against Ben Fry of Nazareth, a junior, 3-1 on the year. A replay of the final 8 seconds.
That's the same move Cerulli used in the first period. The Nazareth fans are still upset as Tori Bergio gets a takedown. Goes up 2-0. Nazareth fans still upset they didn't get a point on that second caution, but sorry guys, that's the rule. In fact, that new rule made all the difference there. Made a difference to the team point this time around.
Yes, it did, and we'll see how important it is down the road. Tori Bergio has looked so impressive so far this year. He won the Crestwood tournament.
Really has a lot of mat poise, and that's hard to find in a sophomore. He really knows his way around the mat, knows his moves, knows what bouts are important, knows when it's important to really turn it on. Really a lot of mat awareness. I expect real great things out of Tori Bergio.
Well, he's been wrestling all his life. His dad, Sam, has been around wrestling all his life. And Tori, I'm sure, rolling around on the carpeting at home since he's been a little one. Scott, I talked to Steve Powell and asked him to compare the Crestwood tournament and the Top Hat tournament, and he sort of felt they were about equal.
They are now. The Top Hat tournament has a reversal for Ben Fry. The Top Hat tournament used to be the premier tournament in the state, and hard to say why it isn't anymore. It just has come back to the field a little bit. Although the Mountaintop tournament isn't a premier event, it's still a good, tough tournament. Easy to compare the two. In fact, in the Mountaintop tournament, you wrestle back for 10 places. So maybe the major difference is you get a lot more wrestling done in the Mountaintop tournament as a team.
Easton won the Crestwood tournament. Nazareth took a second, although they advanced 10 people into the semifinals. They only got 3 into the final.
Bergio's going to come out for at least 1 here, probably 2. There's a 2-point reversal for Bergio. He's got the lower leg. He's got the cradle. He's going to drive over Ben Fry.
Not much time left.
He had to rush that one, and that's what happens when you rush a cradle.
Tori Bergio leads at the end of 1 period by a 4-2 score.
That's what happens when you rush a cradle. It just goes apart on you, but Tori Bergio had to rush that cradle. From the bottom, Tori kept his head on the mat an awful lot. He's got to pick that up if he wants to work from the bottom a little better, but he did come out of there in fine shape and had Ben Fry in some momentary difficulty. Looked like a false start from the bottom there, but not called by Gene. You know, I've been talking to Gene Ross, and he doesn't like the big matches early in the year. It takes him a while to get going, just like the wrestlers. He's looked good so far here. There's going to be some points scored here. There's going to be 2 for Ben Fry and another reversal.
Good match.
I think we're going to see as Tori Bergio gets back on top. I think we're going to see him let Ben Fry to his feet. One thing you like to see from young wrestlers, and pretty much right up and down the lineup, we're going to see young wrestlers tonight, is a good initial move off the whistle. We talk about that all year long. But you got to see right off the whistle, you want to see somebody going for inside control and a good explosive move. Not like that.
Tori has a reversal and a takedown. Fry with 2 reversals. Tied at 4.
Tori still has that nice long body. He's had a little bit of beef since last year. It looks like he's worked out with the weights a little bit. Got that nice long body, a little difficult to throw legs on as Ben Fry is attempting. Tori Bergio comes out the back for the reversal.
Bergio leads again by 2. He has never trailed. He leads 6-4.
He's got that cross chest ride. He's trying to go for a cradle under there. Got the hand through the crotch. And he does let him up just as we expected he would.
6-5. 50 seconds, second period.
Easton not necessarily looking for bonus points here. Ben Fry with some varsity experience last year. But Easton definitely expects to come away with the win.
The Nazareth JVs, by the way, won 45-9. And if you're coming off a JV squad at Nazareth, you are ready for varsity wrestling. In fact, Scott, how many is that in a row now?
That would be 47, count them, 47 in a row for the Nazareth JVs. And we already know the varsity riding a 34-match win streak.
They're still neutral, 6-5. Bergio leads.
The Nazareth JVs last year had 18 wrestlers with 2 losses or less. An amazing statistic.
Caution against Fry. 19 seconds on the clock, second period.
Ben Fry himself last year 11-1 on JVs. Good lateral drop attempted by Bergio.
Two-point takedown by Bergio.
That takedown is scored on the edge of the mat by Bergio. Good wrestler score on the edge. He did just that to grab a 3-point lead going into this last period.
And it'll be his choice. Bergio is going to choose the neutral position. 8-5, he leads.
Yeah, he wasn't taking top, that's for sure. Ben Fry 4-4 on varsity, we mentioned. Also, all these statistics provided by the two coaches, and they've always been very accommodating to us.
Bergio, takedown, he leads 10-5.
He's really taking charge here.
Now, of course, Easton thinking bonus points.
He's up by 5. He needs to step across. When he's got that leg, he's got to step over it. He had it wide open. Called a Turk ride. Steve Paliel's let him up. Tory Bergio listens and then proceeds to jump straight into a double leg takedown.
He checks the scoreboard. He checks the clock. And now he'll try to go to work.
There's a quarter Nelson. He'll spin one way and go the other if Ben Fry doesn't want to go. Ben Fry, nice defensive job. He needs to shrug this by, does Tory Bergio. Instead goes back for the cradle, tries to lock that up. Those long arms, you know that's going to work. Hangs on the ankle. He'll get around for 2. Steps across. There's a 2-point takedown.
Bergio with his 4th takedown of the bout. He leads 12-6.
I think we're going to let him up again.
That's what they're yelling. Let him up. A caution on the bottom.
That's a warning for stalling on the bottom. Warnings for stalling don't add up with cautions. They are separate violations. The next warning for stalling, however, will be a point. The next caution will just be a caution.
So the one rule changed and the other one didn't.
The other rule, I don't think that stalling warning will ever change. Although I'd love to see it handed out a lot more. There's another warning for stalling. There is a point.
Bergio now leads 13-6. He gives the escape. 13-7.
A takedown would be the major decision. He's spinning. He's spinning. He steps behind. He's got to break that hold. He's got 5 seconds to do it. A takedown here is an extra team point. He's not going to get it.
Tory Bergio will win at 112 pounds, and he'll win by a 13-7 score. Gives Easton 3 team points at the end of 2 weight classes. Easton leads 8-0. Stay with us.
If you want a truck, you have to come to a Chevrolet dealer. And really, you have to come to Scott Chevrolet because we have the best selection. And we feel very confident that we have the sales expertise here to set our customers up with the right kind of vehicle for their needs. And that's extremely important when we're dealing with trucks. We can give just as good a deal, if not better, than our competition. And our customer is going to be taken care of better after the sale.
It's a special holiday treat, the world's most famous ballet. the State Theater of Easton presents The Nutcracker, performed by the Princeton Ballet, Friday, December 14th and Saturday, December 15th. For ticket information, call the State Theater ticket office at 252-3132. That's 252-3132 for ticket information for The Nutcracker, December 14th and 15th at the State Theater in Easton.
Hi, sports fan. This is Dick Tracy.
And Kathy Benikoff.
And we're inviting you to watch great basketball highlights of boys basketball.
And the girls.
This season here on
Twin County Cable 4.
£119 for Easton, Tim Reel, a junior, 4-2 on the year. For Nazareth, Chad Feichtel, he is a junior, 3-2 on the year.
Feichtel last year, 19-1 on that impressive JV squad that Nazareth had. Timmy Reel, varsity all year long. Timmy Reel has looked good on his feet sporadically, has looked great on his feet. Nice spin move by Feichtel. This is one of those bouts that Easton can't be too very sure of. Chad Feichtel has proven he is a good wrestler. They go out of bounds. Timmy Reel can't wrestle too close to the vest here.
Could be a critical bout for the Blue Eagles.
They really need to get started here, although they probably didn't expect to win any of the first 3 bouts, but they certainly didn't expect to go without a takedown and with 4 warnings for stalling against them in the first 2 bouts. So I think if Ray were able to look at this objectively right now, he'd say things look pretty bad. The results are what he probably expected. Just the way they got there probably was not.
Been a long time since Ray has even tasted defeat. And he's hoping it does not start this evening.
How about a long time since he's been shut out for the first 2 weight classes?
Yeah, that's right.
My word.
Brad Sillen-Perry sitting in there for a few years.
Dave Connors at 90, at 103 last year, and Sillen-Perry backing him up at 112. I'd venture to guess that they weren't behind at all. There's a warning for stalling against Timmy Reel. Gene Watts really throwing the armbands around a little bit tonight. Nice ankle pick by Tim Reel. He's got to pick that ankle off the mat and circle with it. Feichtel is just going to plant and stay away from it. Now he's got to get past that arm. He's got to post an arm. Nice defense by Feichtel. Timmy Reel had the move locked up, just couldn't finish.
Came very close earlier in this period as they were going off the mat. There you get a look at Steve Powell. Steve has been around for 7 years as the Easton High coach. That's a lot of years until you go over to the other side. And Ray Nunemaker, 28 years. As the Nazareth head coach, he started Nazareth Wrestling and continues to be their only coach. Oh, what a beautiful move. No points.
Actually, there was wrestling at Nazareth before Ray. There just wasn't very good wrestling before Ray. I think Ray is the 3rd or 4th coach they've had.
All right.
There is the most recognizable head in all of District 11 wrestling.
I thought he started things here in Blue Eagle territory.
Stan Scuda started it with Joe Amoroso coming in after that, Bruce Hain for a couple of years, but it's been all Ray Nunemaker. We talk about wrestling traditions and the tradition that Nazareth had. We mentioned briefly in the pregame. Nazareth had 2 winning seasons before Ray Nunemaker, and Ray's never had a losing season.
Well, Nazareth takes the lead in a match or a bout for the first time tonight as Feichtel gets an escape and he leads 1-0.
In fact, if you can believe it, for Nazareth Wrestling, there's a year, first year they had wrestling, they went 1-4. One year they went 0-10. One year they went 1-9, and one year they went 1-9-1.
None of those under Ray Nunemaker.
Yeah, none of those under Ray Nunemaker. Ray, it looks like his worst record is 6-4, and that's the first year he took over. He went from there to 9-3 to 11-2 to 11-1 to 13-1.
Never had a losing season and had his greatest season of all time last year.
arguably the best season of all time in District 11.
1 point awarded to Feichtel as a stalling call against Reel. The second. Feichtel leads 2-0.
Good shot by Reels. Trying to step over. Feichtel doing a nice defensive job. Generates offense of his own. Tries that head shrug. Again, spinning one way and throwing the other. Or throwing actually the same way, and then he'll spin back against the throw. Nice duck under by Chad Feichtel. Timmy Reel looking for the edge as they go to the mat. That's a takedown. Takedown! Chad Feichtel. Chad Feichtel doing his job so far tonight. He leads 4-0. Looks impressive. Looks real good. Very well muscled 119-pounder and really doing a job on Timmy Reel. Timmy Reel, not a bad wrestler, has a good career record. I believe he's got about 41 career wins. Sorry, 36, 26, and 1. 20 of those wins his freshman year.
Reel gets the escape, picks up his first point of the bout. He trails 4-1. A lot of time left for anything to happen here. 119 pounds. The Red Rovers on top. 8-0.
Good barrel roll by Feichtel. Still underhook by Reel. Takedown. Feichtel. He's taken over this match.
At the end of 4 minutes, Feichtel leads 6-1. We have an injury clock, so we'll talk to you about Bob's Flower Shop. You know, it's the holiday season, and you can make it a memorable one with a little help from Bob's Flower Shop. For thoughtful holiday gift ideas, Christmas centerpieces, live and silk arrangements, or musical ornaments to add that special touch of holiday cheer, Bob's Flower Shop has a full staff of helpers to find a gift for that special someone. Delivery is available for your convenience, and phone orders are welcome. Or you can visit their location at 1214 Main Street in Northampton. The entire staff of Bob's Flower Shop wishes you a safe and happy holiday season. Might be a good time, too, to take a look at Scott Farr's top 10 lists for 1990 and 91. And, Scott, I'm sure that this may change as the season progresses.
This is how I picked them before the season, and like the rest of the guys, I took Nazareth #1, but expect Easton to win here tonight. Catasauqua, we already mentioned, one of the best balanced teams. I don't know why Peaburg and Easton are 3 and 4 like that. I probably could put them tie for 3 and 4. Only reason Whitehall is behind them, they got a heck of a lineup. They just don't have any big meat experience, and they're going to have a lot of big meets this year. Interesting to see how they handle it. Northampton always tough. Allen looks like one of the better teams with people coming back. Wilson in the Colonial League has 7 absolute horses. Then Liberty and Parkland, just because they look like the best of the rest. This is not the year it was last year. You don't have those 4 guys on top week after week after week. It's really going to shift around an awful lot. Some teams are going to come out of nowhere.
Some are saying that perhaps the best team in the area is Phillipsburg. They got a couple of transfers in, fill up a couple of weight classes. Bobby Giurli is here tonight watching because he has Nazareth next Saturday night over in the pit. And we have Easton Phillipsburg for you later on in the year. One thing Phillipsburg didn't need was a couple of transfers to make their program even stronger.
And to be honest, without him, they were hurting a little bit. There's a 2-point takedown by Timmy Reel. He's going to need a couple more of those before this is over.
Well, things are getting interesting here in the third period. 7-4 score on the escape by Feichtel.
If you're looking ahead, he needs 2 more takedowns if you counted another escape by Feichtel. That ankle pick's been open all night long. He's got it again. He had it earlier in the bout. He got his takedown with it, and now he's working on it again. Feichtel is just stepping right on into that.
The clock is important. 50 seconds now to go. Third period. Stalemate is called.
You saw Ray Nunemaker showing Chad Feichtel what he was doing. He says, you're giving him the foot. And indeed he is.
He's stepping forward with it instead of pushing it out to the side.
It'll be right in Timmy Reel's face. There's another good pick by Tim Reel, not the same one he's been using. I think you're going to see a stalling warning against Feichtel now.
He has no warnings. Takedown.
Good throw by Feichel. Used that underhook. Looked like he was going to just block out the rest of the match. Instead, uses the throw, and it looks like he's got this one wrapped up. He leads 9-4. They come back to the center of the mat. 16 seconds on the clock. Trying to get the first team points for the Blue Eagles. Ray Nunemaker feels it's won. He's gone back to talk to Ryan Nunemaker, his son. There's the buzzer. Jim Reel defeated by Chad Feichel of Nazareth by a 9-4 score. Our team score, Easton 8, Nazareth 3. Stay with us.
The Bethlehem Restaurant and Diner, located on Catasauqua Road, is open 24 hours daily, except Sundays till 9 p.m. Try one of our many specialty sandwiches or one of Mike's great dancing burgers, sure to please and satisfy your appetite. And for late evening diners, remember to ask for the optional breakfast menu, available after 10 p.m. The breakfast special is available every day for just 99 cents. Come out and dine with us at the Bethlehem Restaurant and Diner on Catasauqua Road. You won't be disappointed.
Cowabunga! The movie every kid in America wants to see is on Viewer's Choice. Excellent! It stars 4 radical dudes, is loaded with gnarly action and bodacious fun, and goes great with pizza. Awesome! It's the blockbuster flick, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Crowd-pleasing PG-rated fun on pay-per-view. Cowabunga! Viewer's Choice makes it easy to order the real thing, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is no cartoon, dude.
125 pounds for Easton. Tyler Purdy, a senior, 5-0 on the year. For Nazareth, Ryan Nunemaker, a junior, 4-0 on the year. Could be a classic matchup. Ryan Nunemaker, outstanding so far this season.
He probably had the 3 wrestling weeks of his life in March last year as he went on to 5th place in the state tournament without even having wrestled every varsity match during the year. He was a real surprise even to get to districts. And there he goes 5th in the state. Tyler Purdy, we mentioned 5-0. He'll stay in every match with a Peterson roll of his that we saw last year as he beat, I believe, Steve Hersig. He's reaching now for the spladle. Ryan Nunemaker won't have any of that. There's going to be a takedown. Takedown, Ryan Nunemaker.
Both of these guys were champions in their respective tournaments. Neither one has tasted defeat here in 90-91. Nunemaker leads 2-0.
Tyler Purdy on the short end of an 11-10 score last year.
Purdy with the escape.
And that was to Steve Hersig. Hersig up a couple of weights. You talk to the coaches around the league, and they really respect Ryan Nunemaker. And the only thing he does is he just works. He just goes out there and he works. That guy with the flash isn't doing us any favors over there, is he? Every time he flashes that thing, we got the whole screen black.
Well, you automatically go to a pose, and you just have to avoid doing that. Ryan had some trouble last year breaking the lineup every match, didn't he?
Well, I think anybody would, and he did. Ended up, I guess, at 119 pounds for the postseason. It looked real good.
Tell you how strong they were last season. A kid of this caliber could not always be there in the top 13.
He's 25-8-1 as a sophomore. Jason Magditch was usually ahead of him, as Magditch ended up 23-5.
Takedown, Nunemaker.
Good duck undertake by Nunemaker. There's the Peterson. He'll take 2 points for that. We heard it coming. And a 2-point reversal for Nunemaker.
Little action going on here. They've got to put the points on the board. They're not there yet. It should be 6-3. And now Gene Wass will go over and discuss it. I believe 6-3 would be correct.
I've got an escape reversal, no back points.
That's what I have. 2 takedowns and a reversal for Nunemaker. An escape reversal for Purdy. 6-3 is the score. 6 seconds on the clock. Well, you knew that Peterson would be there eventually.
It's there every match. He throws it every match. And it's the cheapest 4 points in wrestling, and he had it again. He had it again at the buzzer. He sets it up real nice, and it's the cheapest 4 points in wrestling. It's an easy move to throw. You can throw it against anybody. It's there at least once a match.
And Ray Nunemaker was warning Ryan about it the last time the wrestlers had a chance to take a breather. There's the escape by Purdy. It's allowed by Nunemaker. 6-4 the score.
The one way to avoid it is to maintain hand control. You're going to get set up for it at some point in the match. If a guy's looking for it, it's going to be there. You've got to maintain hand control. There's a nice duck under by Tyler Purdy. Good defense, very strong defense by Ryan Nunemaker. Steps in, Navy ride, trip takedown. Lets him up. Tyler Purdy goes. That's the other way to avoid the Peterson right there, is to just allow the 1 instead of giving up 4.
8-5, Nunemaker. Trying to get his team to within 2. Nazareth trailed. 8-3.
Nice long shot by Ryan Nunemaker. Takes a lot of strength to make that long shot work like that. He's got that inside leg tied up, and he's going to allow the escape right here again. You see Tyler Purdy setting up the Peterson again. He'll spin to the inside with that.
Purdy gets his 4th escape, 10-6.
Purdy going for the headlock this time.
.43 seconds, second period, 10-6, Nunemaker. Win here by Nazareth, Scott, and things are just about where you thought they would be at the end of 4 bouts.
I had Easton winning the 119-pound bout, and there's a lot of toss-ups left, but pretty close to even.
They'll start neutral, 25 seconds.
Nice duck by Ryan Nunemaker. I'll guarantee you he learned that one from Brad Sillenperry. In the last couple of years, he gets the takedown. That was Brad's patented move, as Brad has gone down to North Carolina with that one.
And the period will end. 12-6 Nunemaker.
He's left his move behind with Ryan, as that was perfectly executed for a 12-6 lead.
So now Nunemaker will start thinking about some bonus points. We hear Brad is wrestling for North Carolina.
That's the way it looks. Brad will be starting at 118 pounds for North Carolina. A few other alumna in the crowd.
Nunemaker with an escape and a takedown that quickly, and he now leads 15-6.
He's up by 9. He's got the major wrapped up. Saw Moss Graves, Tony Rosalino, Dan Gaffredo in the crowd today. All Easton greats.
Moss is wrestling.
Moss is over at Clarion and doing well.
$15-7.
Nunemaker's just been too strong, too physically strong for Tyler Purdy here tonight. Tyler's been in on a couple of shots, and Ryan just reaches down and pulls him off. I think that tie gets looser and looser every time we take a look at Steve. Nice shrug by Nunemaker as he gets another one.
Nunemaker with 2, 4, 6, 7 takedowns.
7 takedowns, real nice performance.
The escape again, 17-8. There's number 8 again. 19-8. I'll let him up again. He's going to try to 1 point into a tech fall.
Purdy goes for the spladle. That's how you avoid the spladle, Ryan. Nice job.
21-9. Lets him up.
He's up by 12. Up by 11 now with the escape. What superb conditioning on Ryan Nunemaker. I'm not sure if he ran cross country this year, but he is in super condition.
What's unbelievably impressive here is that Tyler Purdy is a good wrestler, no doubt about it. But Ryan Nunemaker has just looked outstanding, and all of a sudden, he's got himself a slight injury. And there'll be timeout call. Nunemaker leading 21-10. They'll be neutral with 32 seconds to go.
Mentioned Tyler as an outstanding wrestler. He was third in the district last year. A lot of people forget that. But he was third at 125 pounds. So he is that district caliber of wrestler. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think Ryan also took third. I'm going to check on that.
And while Scott is doing that, we will remind you that our basketball coverage continues on Tuesday night. We will have a couple of undefeated teams from the East Bend Conference for you. We're going to go over to the Whitehall Gymnasium. Whitehall and Parkland. Parkland with a big win over Easton last night. Whitehall with a big win over Central Catholic last night. They're both undefeated. We'll be there.
Ryan was third in the district at 119 pounds. There's another takedown. Well, he is just rolling it up. There's an escape by Tyler Purdy. Takedown by Nunemaker. It's got to be 15 here soon. There's the escape for Purdy.
11 takedowns.
We've got the score now at 25-11. That'll end it right there.
The tech ball comes at 5 minutes and 57 seconds. And it might be critical. 27-11 in favor of Ryan Nunemaker. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Something magical is coming into your home on Viewer's Choice.
Surprise!
A holiday treat for the entire family.
Prancers in the shed near my house.
Filled with love, warmth, and the spirit of Christmas.
You have added inspiration to my day, young lady.
Prancer, the perfect gift for the child in all of us. Start a new Christmas tradition. Order the holiday treat Prancer at home on Viewer's Choice.
The Lehigh Valley is going to the dogs. Pot's hot dogs, that is. Yes, everybody's rushing into their nearby Pot's Doggy Shop for America's best hot dog, covered with all their favorite stuff. So don't be left behind. Get your pups moving to the Pots where you live or work.
Fight the one you love.
All right, we have knotted things up at 8-8 as we move to 130 pounds. For Easton, Greg Jones.
It'll be Jason Root.
Jason Root, it is. A senior 4-1 on the year against Todd Colino. A senior 3-2 on the year for Nazareth. So the tech falls have come at the very end of the bouts. 6 minutes for Gino Cerulli at 103 for Easton. 5:57 for Ryan Nunemaker of Nazareth. Everything is all even.
Bloody nose for Todd Colino. Jason Root looks good this year. He's well cut. Looks like he's worked out a little bit. He's the guy that needs to get it all together and just put together a good season. Just get out there and do the job. Todd Colino is the first spladle I ever saw was thrown by Todd Colino. It seems like he's been around forever. Very well muscled young man. Hard to believe he's a senior.
Easton's won 2 bouts. Nazareth's won 2 bouts. 2 decisions. 2 tech falls.
There he's reaching for the spladle, reaching for the spladle, reaching for the spladle. He'll try and throw that from the bottom, from neutral. He'll try and throw that all the time.
No score.
Real easy way to stay out of the spladle is to just finish that takedown. Just keep on moving. Here he's going to throw it again. Watch, that right arm is going to come over the top and reach for a leg. There it is. Every time. I see now Jason Root's got himself in a situation where he's afraid to finish off the takedown because he thinks he might get caught. Now he's doing the right thing. There you go. Reach across, grab that ankle, and just finish it. Reach across, grab a hip, do something. Todd Colino has nothing right here, and he should be able to finish that takedown. He's just afraid to move on it.
46 seconds, first period. No score, 130. Bout number 5.
Here it comes again. Watch him reach over the top of the back. He'll come over and reach down for the knee and try for that spladle again. He really hasn't done a whole lot from standing. And Gene has been throwing around the warnings for stalling. We didn't have time for one last match because all we did was watch Ryan Nunemaker with 12, count them, 12 takedowns. I think we're going to see a warning for stalling against Colino. He's just not doing anything from neutral. He's not initiating anything.
16 seconds, first period, no score. Easton has come into this season as the favorite to win the East Penn Conference.
Colino last year on JVs, 14-1. Stop me when we get to a JV with a bad record for Nazareth.
Well, it's like Ted Meixel said, last year's JV team probably would have won a majority of dual meets against varsity teams.
They really would have.
Well, our second scoreless period of the evening. We had one at 1:19. We have one here at 1:30. On the bottom, Todd Colino. On top, Jason Root.
I'm looking down last year's junior varsity records for Nazareth. The worst record on the team was 12-5. The worst.
Nice job by Colino to roll through.
Jason Root excited the crowd a little bit, almost stepped over that. One thing you really have to do against Todd Colino is work on him physically. If you don't, boy, he'll come right after you.
You would think, Scott, this bout a little more critical for Easton.
You know it is. They really have to win all the ones they're expected to win from here on in. This is one of them. If they lose another one they're not supposed to, they're in some trouble. Nazareth sitting probably a little better than they thought they would right here. They still know it's a long road to go. They've still got to pull an upset from somewhere. There he is. He's from the bottom trying that spladle. He's going to get at least an escape from here. There's a scissors on the head by Todd Colino. That's an illegal hold. Illegal hold.
1 point awarded to Root.
I think it happened accidentally, but a scissors on the head is illegal. Period.
And Gene Wasp would not let him break it until he explained all that. So Gene used the little audio-visual aid there. There's the escape by Colino, so he knocks things right back up at 1-1. Stalemate again.
Looks like Jason Root went to the same barber as Gino Cerulli. That's a bad haircut. I'm sorry.
Not if you win, Scott.
Oh, wait till you see Darren Wenrich. He's got the lines in the front, and he's got the little angles in the back. He's somebody really messed him up.
That's that new art. That's a new art form. 15 seconds now. Second period, 1-1 is the score. Nobody's had an advantage in this one. 130 pounds. Been dead even. That's the way the period will end. 1-1. We'll be right back.
Get ready for a surprise.
2 of the year's biggest blockbuster hits are playing this week on Viewer's Choice. Great.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Get set for total excitement. Touch. And pretty outrageous comedy.
Well done!
When you order two of the year's hottest films.
Close your mouth, dear.
Pretty Woman and Total Recall. Two great reasons to stay at home this week with viewer's choice.
I remember my mom going to Walter's Pharmacy. Now I go. Walter's fills my prescription needs quickly, and I pay my Bell of PA and UGI bills. When I can't get away, Walter's comes to me with free delivery. Walter's Pharmacy, making life easier through genuine care since 1937. Walter's Pharmacy, 401 North 17th Street in the Allentown Medical Center.
Hi, this is
Aaron Okino,
Jim Loftus, Pat Cassidy, Joe Long, and Jerry Long reminding you to watch the Sturdy Beggars Comedy Show Friday nights at 9 p.m. on Twin County Cable 4 from Television Hill.
You're viewing Twin County Cable 4, your choice for community programming in the Lehigh Valley.
We're back. We're about 15 seconds into the third period. Nothing has changed on the bottom. Jason Root on top, Todd Colino. We're tied at 1-1.
I think you said Jason Root on top. Of course, Jason Root on the bottom.
I'm sorry, that's correct. Colino is on top.
Jason Root's choice was the bottom, although Todd Colino's doing a nice job from up there. Hanging on anyway, not throwing many pinning combinations. He'll use that for a ride for quite some time. Jason Root trying to get back up to his base, trying to work something. Todd Colino just riding high, riding that wrist.
Scott, does a draw favor either team here?
I think a draw would favor Nazareth. I think they had a figure to lose this one. Better yet, I think Easton had a figure to win this one. I don't know if Nazareth figured to lose, but Easton felt pretty good coming into this one. I don't think it'll be a draw. I just don't think it'll happen. I think we're going to see something happen here.
We've had a bunch of stalemates in this one. It's 1-1, 50 seconds on the clock. They're even having trouble untangling themselves.
Again, let's watch for that initial move. We see a leg man on top. Jason Root needs to explode off the bottom, avoid those legs. That's a decent move. He didn't block the leg, though. He didn't grab inside control. You got to get inside control. Colino locks that leg in again. They'll sit here for another 20 seconds.
Colino doing a good job riding. Riding's been a lost art of late, Scott, and right now it becomes extremely important that Colino continues to ride.
And he got warned for stalling that time. If he throws those legs in and hangs on again, Jason Root will have a point. Gene Wass has sent the message. He has said to Todd Colino, by way of that warning, he has said, if you do it again, I'll warn you again, and that'll be a point. There go the legs. Todd Colino over the top. We'll see what happens. He's trying to crank that power half. 10 seconds.
This is going to end in a draw. At 130 pounds, the match ends in a 1-1 tie. So we stay tied at 10-10. Stay with us.
Make Whitehall Auto Parts the most important stop for your car. We're a major supplier of foreign and domestic auto and light truck parts and have one of the largest inventories in the Lehigh Valley. We also provide machine shop services and are equipped for complete engine rebuilding. Whitehall Auto Parts stands behind their products. Make your next stop at Whitehall Auto Parts, 2741 MacArthur Road in Whitehall. We're open weekdays 8 to 8, Saturday 8 to 4, and Sunday 9 to 4. Or phone 437-4604.
135 pounds for Easton. Craig Jones, a junior, 5-2. He will take on Steve Hersick, a junior, 4-1.
Jonesy right in on that takedown. He was a surprise for the Rovers last year. Did a real nice job breaking into the lineup. Steve Hersig wrestled a tough year all year long last year. Came out of it with a 25-10-1 record. He placed in districts. I think he came in third. Was beaten in the semifinals by Steve Calandra. Was beaten soundly in the semifinals. In fact, was flat on his back early on. We're going to have injury time. Craig Jones got something across the throat, and Steve Powell saw it.
Hersig really had clamped on the hold there as he had him down around the neck area, and that may very well have been what happened, although Jones got right up and appeared to be ready to wrestle, but that's certainly not the case right now. But he's all right. He's going to get back in there.
Looks like he's in some amount of pain over there, but I know what Steve Powell's complaining about. He's saying he had the front headlock on and was right across the throat. That's an illegal hold. If he's across the throat with the front headlock, it's illegal. You've got to watch, as a referee, you've got to watch that front headlock very, very closely.
We're back in the center of action. 30 seconds have gone by in the first period. 135 pounds. This is bout number 6. They wrestle 13. Team scored 10-10. Everything's been even. A major by both teams, or a tech fall, that is, by both teams. A regular decision by both teams. And a draw, obviously, by both teams.
Craig Jones last year finishing up at 10-9 as a sophomore. Good group of sophomores for Steve Powell. Brian Bergfeld, Gino Cerulli, Keith Heimbach, Craig Jones, Tim Reel, Jeff Euler. This year, of course, are all juniors.
Back to the center. They'll remain neutral. No score. 108 first period.
Jones in on the single leg. Head outside single. There's that front headlock. You got to look for it across the throat. He is across the throat. Well, evidently not. Gene Wash looking right at it, but that right there is a good example of that front headlock. That's what Gene Wash has to look at.
Hersig with a takedown. He worked hard to get it. Hersig leads 2-0.
There's a cradle. You knew a Hersig would throw a cradle. He's over the head. He's under the leg. He's got Jones in trouble. He's going to scoot out to the side. Easton doesn't want to give up bonus points in this bout. That cradle is tight with 10 seconds to go.
He'll tack on 3 near fall points right here. And he will go into the second period. Will Steve Hersig leading 5-0.
He looked pretty relaxed in that cradle. It didn't look like he was even looking for the fall. If he gets that with a little more time left, he's going to go for it. 3 Hersigs in a row, all cradle masters, it would appear, as Ken and Mike both made a living with that cradle. And Steve, in the first time we got him on top, clamps that cradle on.
Hersig. Second period.
Yeah, he wants to stay on top. Steve Hersig is not a guy that's going to go on his feet. He's going to go on top. Last year, Hersig, out of his 25 wins, 14 were falls. So a good percentage for him of falls.
God, he appears to be a very methodical wrestler, like he's almost thinking out everything that he's going to do.
He really does. He never has an expression on his face. His real poker face really is in his own world out there, and that's good. You can block out a lot of things. and just go ahead and wrestle. He knows what he needs to do. He's got every move planned, that's for sure.
Even that first takedown was very methodical. Worked his way through. Took about 20 seconds to do it. There's a warning for stalling against Jones.
Easton coach is saying, what can he do? That leg was trapped and the ankle was picked up. And that's a stall ride if you look at it that way. There's a Peterson roll open for Craig Jones if he wants to take it. He could slip out the side on this. Or he could flip right around with the Peterson. There's two moves there. We know Steve Hersig is vulnerable to the Peterson. He got Peterson a couple of times last year. As we mentioned already, he beat Tyler Purdy 11-10.
26 seconds, 5-0. No points scored here in the second period. We have not had a scoreless second period all night long.
After the way Hersig clamped that cradle on last period, you didn't expect to see it here either. Thought sure he was going to slap another one on him. Not that he hasn't tried. Yeah, that's got to be a stalling against the home team.
So each wrestler in the period has been warned for stalling.
He was just sitting there hanging on to wrist. That's got to be stalling.
And that's exactly what Gene Wash just told him.
That's 9 warnings for stalling already tonight against both teams.
There's the escape. So Jones keeps it from being a 0-0 period. He gets one. He trails 5-1. On top, Craig Jones. Hersig on the bottom.
Jones has got to look to work from the top. He didn't have much success on his feet. He was in deep a couple of times, but wasn't able to finish against Hersig. He's got to try and come up with something here, down by 4, and needs to look to turn Hersig. Steve Calandra proved that Hersig was vulnerable to the cross-face cradle in last year's district semifinals.
Both wrestlers have been warned for stalling. Next warning will be a point. Off the mat they go, back to the center.
He beat Hersig last year. Calandra did 9-0, but Calandra had a great district tournament. Steve Hersig certainly a chance to go back to the districts and advance at least as far as last year. One of the guys coming back who should do a great job.
Calandra one bout away from working tonight.
There's a lower leg cradle by Jones. He'll scoot out the side. He'll put his head to the hip. He's got Hersig over. Hersig is in trouble. That's the ball. What a shocking upset.
The ball comes at 4 minutes and 55 seconds. A stunning upset here by Craig Jones over Steve Hersig. Easton leads by a 16-10 score. Stay with us.
Some nights call for something a little special.
Yes, tonight's gonna be the night. Is tonight gonna be the night? Let yourself go.
Tonight's the night for Viewer's Choice Pay-Per-View. The hottest movies, the biggest events, delivered to your house one at a time.
Is tonight gonna be the night? Hey, let yourself go.
In December, see the blockbuster hit Pretty Woman and the marital mayhem of Betsy's Wedding.
A car? The totally new concept for the 90s. Drive a whole car or truck of your choice, but pay for just about half of it. It's honest, it's hassle-free, it's intelligent. We guarantee in writing what the vehicle's resale value will be when you turn it in. We then deduct that, and you pay just on the remainder. Talk to one of our half-a-car specialists at Lehigh Valley Ford, Honda, Hyundai Suzuki, Lehigh Street Auto Mile, or Lehigh Valley Acura MacArthur Road. Ask about half a car.
Scott Barr, you often talk about getting caught. Hersig got caught.
He got caught in a good move. And it's hard to get caught in a cradle. It's kind of an oxymoron if you know wrestling well. But boy, oh boy, when he got in it, he was in it. And that was it. Great move by Craig Jones. And now we got the crowd fired up.
Meisher is in on the takedown. And now we'll get a quick look at the fall by Craig Jones.
Lower leg cradle, locks it up. Flat.
And I guess we better introduce the 140-pound wrestlers. Greg Geiger of Easton, a senior, 3-1 on the year. Keith Meisher of Nazareth, a senior, 4-1 on the year. It is Meisher leading by a 2-1 score. The wrestlers are neutral.
Meisher wrestled JVs last year, ended up 14-1. Geiger wrestled most of the year before he dislocated an elbow, ended up 16-6. So Easton expecting to win this one.
They had the clock down to 46 seconds, and 46 seconds was certainly not what was left. It may have jumped. It might be a minute and 46. It had jumped down to 46, and I think that's what the discussion is all about. So
maybe they started it where they ended the last one, which was at a minute 5.
Well, it had said 46, Scott, and it should have been 146, so it's corrected.
Just so we don't have more bad time like we did at Allen Central last year. We don't want to do that in a big match. Boy, Meisher looks impressive against Geiger here.
Meisher has been impressive all year so far at 4-1. Boy, everybody's stunned by that pin by Craig Jones. He was trailing 5-1 before he started that move.
I'll tell you what, it tells you what kind of kid Craig Jones is. He wasn't real excited after that. He got up, he raised his arm, he shook hands, and that was it. A lot of guys would be jumping around the mat, number one-ing the fans and everything. Not Craig Jones. He came over, and the guys that mobbed him over on the bench were a lot more excited, that's for sure. Maybe he was just exhausted.
May turn out to be his biggest win of the year. We'll see how things progress. This is bout 7.
Takedown, here's the toes in rule. Craig Geiger with the toes in for the takedown. If that were last year, no takedown. This year, it is a takedown.
And again, you wonder whether the fans know the new rule. The escape by Meisher.
I think Gene and Greg both made it obvious as Greg really extended his feet with toes in. Gene pointed right to the toes and said to. So Gene's a good graphic official in that manner. He does a lot of that. You know exactly why he's calling what he's calling.
You know, you talk about it being an early big match for Gene Wass. So far tonight, he's at the top of his game.
He really is. He's really on it, and that's unusual for Gene. I know he usually starts out slowly. Last year, I kidded him a little bit, had a rough Easton Nazareth match.
Takedown Meisher, escape Geiger, making 5-4.
Meisher looks tough. I'm impressed. Geiger is definitely a good wrestler that expected to do well last year in the district tournament. Unfortunately, was knocked out before the Peaburg match with that dislocated elbow.
Easton, of course, really pumped up after the pin by Jones, but they know that they better not give some points back here with Geiger.
That's exactly it. And this is the kind of match where you can do that in a hurry. You like to ride that momentum, but in wrestling, if you lose control, that's it.
3 seconds, first period, 5-4. Meisher leads. That's the way the period will end. So a lot of scoring here in period number 1. Meisher is going to take the bottom position. Geiger looks over, and Steve Powell says, let him up. So the score will go to 6-4 very quickly.
Craig Geiger used the optional start last time. He'll use it again. Obviously, he has nothing from the top. If he needs to ride out, he probably will. Oh, good lateral drop by Meisher. He'll take 2 and back point. Lot of time left. Meisher steps over the top.
9-4 up there. It's 11-4 in favor of Meister.
Geiger tried to bull his way in, and Meister did a real nice job of just going right with it.
And now Meister will let Geiger up.
Meister, a senior this year. Boy, that's a shame. He was probably stuck behind Mike Hersiger or Mike Miller last year.
Let's take another look at the move by Meister. Well, that's after the move, but he almost had chest-to-chest, Scott.
He almost did. He needed to crawl over top and throw a double grapevine or something in there. Needed a little more pressure on that near shoulder.
Now Meister's in trouble.
Takedown by Geiger. Meister briefly over to his back. Didn't make it stick. Geiger needs to think about working from the top now. He hasn't had a whole lot of success from his feet. He got into some bad trouble and was very close to being taken out a couple other times. Has 2 takedowns of his own. Well, that's a nice tie he's got right there. He's got the Navy ride. He's got the arm.
This one is far from over. 37 seconds, only the second period. 11-7. Geiger coming back. He trailed 11-4. He's packed on the last 3 points. You talk about momentum. It's beginning to shift in Geiger's favor.
It really is. And Meister over there with the old shoelace trick. Looks like he's trying to grab a little bit extra air over there.
Everybody wearing those $150 sneakers, Scott?
I'll tell you what, wrestling shoes when I was wrestling were 15 bucks and made of nylon. And now, if they're not all suede, they don't go on your feet.
Escape by Meister. He leads 12-7. And he's back in deep.
Geiger's got the whizzer.
Keeping those feet in the circle? No trust.
Now the key on that is that the supporting points first were the knees, and then the feet were brought back down. Once the knees are out of bounds, you're out of bounds. You can't put your feet down after that. That's going to be the most misunderstood part of the rule all year long. Once you're out, you're out.
Well, you certainly are doing a favor for the referees tonight by pointing out these new changes, so hopefully our fans watching will be a little bit more enlightened. There's the buzzer to the end. Period number 2. Meister leads 12-7. Key bout. And now Nazareth's going to take an injury time. No, they're not. He's okay. He's okay, says Gene Wass. He wants him back in the center. Now Gene has to go and get him. Now they're going to start the injury clock. Well,
Ray, I think Ray just said he just has to blow his nose. He has a cold, if I can read lips from here. We're going to get a good look at this big Nazareth crowd, I think.
Well, one of the reasons why they're so successful, they have 300 kids, I think, right now in their program.
You know, a lot has been made of the fact that Nazareth went undefeated. Both their midget teams, the junior high team, the JV team, and the varsity team last year were all undefeated. At the base level means they come out for the other levels, and that's why Ray Nunemaker has success. He'll be the first to admit that if he's the first one to get hold of him, he's going nowhere in a big hurry. They have success because they've wrestled, they've had fun, they've enjoyed it, and the previous teams have had success.
Number 1 in the state last year, number 6 in the nation. Escape Geiger.
Dual meat strength, I don't know that anybody can match up with Nazareth.
12-8. Score here at 140. Geiger in red. Meister is in blue. Steve Calandra is next to come out for the Red Rovers, heavily favored to win at 145, although McAlone is certainly no pushover.
McAlone's the one that brought the Spladle to fame, I think, when he threw it in the semifinals of districts against Chris Lazoin of Stroudsburg. Big upset. Then he went against Moss Grays in the finals, and the rest, as they say, is Easton history. Moss went on from there to win the gold medal at the state championships. Good duck under by Greg Geiger. He'll take 2.
Beautiful move by Geiger on the edge of the mat. 12-10. Geiger has outscored Meister 6-2, 6-1.
I think Meister's tired. I really do. I think Geiger's got to get out there and push him. I don't know how tired Geiger is.
He doesn't look tired.
Meister is really grabbing for extra air. I think he's going to try and block. I think he's going to try and work the edge. Geiger's really got the advantage here. There's the toes in roll. There's the toes in. Absolutely a takedown. If we can replay that one, we've got to take a look. Toes were in. Steve Powell says, give him one. Meister looks tired. 13-12, Meister leads. But he is hanging on for dear life. You got to figure Geiger to win this one. Watch the takedown. That's the wrong one there. Here it comes right here. See the toes? See the toes just inside the line right there. That's the rule exhibited perfectly. Great call by Gene Watts. Nazareth fans did not agree. 14-12, Meister. 1 minute, third period. Meister's in deep. Geiger reaches around. He's got the butt drag. He's got the leg hook. He's looking for a takedown of his own. Stalemate. Meister wanted that one. He's running out of gas. That is a technical violation against Meister. He is avoiding wrestling. That is not a stalling warning or anything else. It is a technical violation against Meister for not coming in the middle to wrestle. Boy, how important might that point be? 14-13. Gene Watts has used all the rules tonight. There's the takedown for Geiger. Geiger leads 15-14. He's gone for back point. One about 29-point score. They want Easton coaches wanted to pick up that leg and step across. He throws the leg in. He's got to be careful here. He doesn't get reversed. Potentially dangerous. 15-14. 13 seconds to wrestle. We're going to need the clock up there. This one is going to come right down to it. Greg Geiger needs to stop the initial move of Meister. Meister going just for the draw here. He wants the escape. They go off. Seconds. Ray Nonemaker says, I need one. Geiger has not been warned for stalling here. He can just keep locking it up. Double underhook going out of bounds like that. Let's start on this side. If he stops the initial move, it's over. What a comeback. Greg Geiger wins 15-14. He trails 12-7. Easton leads 19-10. They win.
Watch her every move, every day, every night. But though he was hired to watch, now he's tempted to touch. Andrew Stevens and Tanya Roberts caught up in an affair too hot to handle, a lie too big to hide, where each caress leads them deeper into danger and further into ecstasy. Night Eyes, just when you thought no one was watching. For one very steamy movie, order Night Eyes at home on Viewer's Choice pay-per-view.
The Money Store Prime Package is here. For a limited time, homeowners can celebrate the holiday season with a home equity loan as low as Prime.
Prime? Hey, you can't beat that.
Imagine fixed rates as low as Prime.
What can I do with the money?
Pay off credit card bills, buy a new car, anything you want.
Trust the Money Store to give homeowners a Prime package when they need it most. But it all ends soon, so call the Money Store right now. 1-800-LOAN-YES.
Watch exciting professional wrestling action with the NWF on Championship Wrestling. Fridays at 8 right here on Twin County Cable 4.
Easton, Steve Calandra. He is 5-0 on the year, a senior, against Sean McAlone, a senior, 4-1 on the year. Scott, the newspaper guys aren't going to have trouble writing a story tomorrow. There's a lot of heroes.
Boy, you came in here not knowing what to expect. You certainly didn't expect the explosiveness of what's happened here tonight. Greg Geiger expected to win. Keith Meisher really came out like a house of fire and took it to Greg Geiger. Greg Geiger kept his composure as Steve Calandra gets in deep, spins around, has the leg. And then, of course, you look back to Craig Jones with the big, big, big fall. That's got to be a 9-point swing in Easton's favor.
Easton's won 4 of the first 7. 1 a draw, 2 by Nazareth. Now you start thinking about maybe Dan Matson.
Maybe Danny has worked out. He's got a $500 brace on that right knee.
But at the moment, he doesn't have a $500 knee.
That's the truth. I'll tell you, football really chewed that one up. You like to see a guy not specialize in high school. I'd rather see him. There's a stalling warning against McAlone. You'd rather see a guy participate in a lot of sports. You hate to tie him down to one. But right about now, Dan Matson had a great football season. Leading scorer in the area. But right about now, he's thinking, boy, if I can get out there at full strength, he could wrap this up.
Whoa. McAlone, takedown on Calandra.
Really controlled Calandra, controlled the near side. Now goes for the half. Calandra, good technique on the stand, has hand control. Spins in, gets 1.
2-1, McAlone, escape, Calandra.
There is Dan Matson. You see the big brace right under the warm-ups right there. Good camera work. That's a lot bigger than it looks there. I saw it up close. There's a lot of hardware on that.
It's amazing how light those braces are. And Danny really has no pain. He had no pain from the moment it happened. And he is allowed to wrestle with the brace.
He needs the padding over it. I took a look at it. It's got some exposed metal and some very hard areas. He needs some foam padding over it.
In all honesty, Scott, I don't think we're going to see him.
I don't think so either. I think you got to save him. You can't jeopardize the guy's wrestling future for sure. And Danny Matson's wrestling future starts in March. It doesn't start here. This is an independent match. Nazareth, if they use them, would probably even wait till something around the Catasauqua or Wilson match, which are the last 2 weeks of the season for Nazareth.
Well, there's a bit of a surprise here at the end of one period. Sean McAlone leading Steve Calandra by a 2-1 score.
Steve works well from the bottom, gets good hand control.
2-2.
I've talked to Steve a lot about working on his feet. He insists on going upper body. Likes the headlock, or not necessarily even headlock, but likes to control the head and the arm, as we saw on the edge of the mat. Last year in districts, worked a cross-face cradle very, very well.
Speaking of last year, this match, 47-10 in favor of Nazareth. They just got steamrolling last year and never stopped.
McAlone with the pin last year with the spladle. There's a nice low shot by Steve Calandra. Boy, did he finish that off nice. He'll get the takedown.
4-2, Calandra.
Steve's dad videotapes every bout that he wrestles in. And I'll tell you what, Steve better take a look at that takedown right there about 100 times, because that was perfect.
Things looking grim over on the Nazareth side. A lot of time left, though. 1-point escape by McAlone.
There's another good shot by Steve. On the edge of the mat. Keep the toes in. They're off.
57 seconds. Second period. 4-3.
In fact, Steve just said to Gene, I thought my toes were in. And Gene said, your hip fell out first.
Scott, how difficult is it for a referee to readapt himself to new rules?
It probably takes a few bouts to do it, to actually know you're calling it. You probably call it better those first few because you're really concentrating on it. I think you get it right every time. It just comes natural a little later. 40 seconds, second period. Calandra leads 4-3. Easton coach is yelling motion, motion to Calandra. He's got a circle. He's got a strike from the outside. He ties up in there with McAlone. It's not going to work. Stalemate. 25 seconds. There it is. A nice long single. Snagged it at the knee. McAlone reaching across. Tying up the far leg. That's not quite a skladal hold. Calandra right from the whistle, diving after that one. Not a good shot. Trying the element of surprise. Reaching over, has those long arms. Reaching and stepping and reaching and stepping. Got to post that arm. Oh! That would have been interesting. But the buzzer does go off. Calandra leads 4-3 at the end of 2 periods. Got started very late here tonight because of the junior high and JV matches. Nazareth won both rather easily. In fact, this matchup didn't start till about 8:30 tonight. So the crowd will be getting home late. And you are hopefully joining us in the comfort of your home and enjoying our first wrestling match of the season. Our next one, Scott, is what? Will be the Christmas City Tournament Finals. I've been working to get those on the air for a number of years. The Christmas City Tournament, one of the best tournaments in the area, one of the strongest fields you'll see. We'll have 4 teams in the gym that night: Nazareth, Northampton, Caddy, and Wilson, that are expected to be among the best in the district. Certainly have the top individuals. The Christmas City Tournament Finals, December 28th, on your favorite wrestling station, Twin County.
An escape by McAlone ties it at 4-4. Well, here we go again. A minute and 12.
Calandra's got to feel good about his position right now. He's been able to take McAlone down. McAlone can insist on tying up in there over both legs. Back to the center. Now, those shoes are new to me, Gary. They have the red sole in the front, the black sole in the rear. Gene Wass even has them on. I'm not rich enough to buy a pair of shoes every year. There's another warning for stalling against McAlone. That'll be a point for Calandra. Calandra leads 5-4. Definitely was the call to make for Gene Wass. McAlone hasn't made a good shot. Calandra needs to clear his arm out from the inside there, reach across the hip. He'll get the takedown if he gets his balance.
Calandra leads 7-4, 30 seconds to go right now. This time Steve Powell wants Calandra to keep McAlone down.
McAlone last year, as we mentioned, district runner-up. Calandra, as we mentioned, district champion. So a good matchup, a good chance to get caliber competition points for both of them. Calandra has the cradle, the cross-face cradle. That's his favorite one. He'll try and rock McAlone back over his knees. McAlone blocking with that arm.
5 seconds.
It's not going to happen. Steve Calandra will ride this period out for a 7-4 win.
So Easton now has won 3 in a row. At 145 pounds, Calandra wins by a 7-4 score. Easton now on top, 22-10. But there are still 5 bouts to follow. We move to 152 pounds. For Easton, Eric Thompson, a freshman, 5-2 on the year, against Matt Sillimperi, a junior for Nazareth, 3-3 on the year. Now, Nazareth must win.
They really do. They're minus 12 with 5 bouts to go. I think they're figuring to pick up 6 at 171 with Darren Wenrich. They can't be real comfortable about their position right now.
talk about Dan Matson wrestling. Dan Matson wrestling and winning could create a very interesting team score situation.
They really could. Dan Matson can go with anybody out here. Dan Matson probably doesn't have to be 100% to beat some of the competition. Although the Easton wrestlers have rolled up 5-2 records at his 2 weights. Hard to say what would happen. We don't know what percentage Dan Matson is. We don't know if he wants to even take the risk. One shot could do it. It doesn't even have to be a shot. What if he steps on it wrong? That could tear the whole thing up. I really don't see Dan Matson on the mat tonight.
Back to the center they go. In blue, Matt Perry. In the red, Eric Thompson. Eric, a big freshman. Eric looking like a pretty strong freshman.
I'll tell you what, Steve Powell's got to like his up top for the next 2 years, for this year and next year. Keith Heimbach, Jeff Mueller, Brian Bergfeld, all juniors. Eric Thompson, a freshman. Another couple of years, he'll be an 89 or a heavyweight. He hits the weights, he's going to be dangerous getting all this varsity experience. Chances are good he'll get kicked around pretty good in this league at that weight, being a freshman. Got to keep his head in it, got to keep his attitude there, got to keep his chin up. And I think you'll hear from Eric Thompson at some point down the road.
Still no score. Looks like he's taking a shot in the left eye from time to time in practice. That's a little bit red. Scott Spielman, our director tonight, doing a fine job. Rick Kehoe is officially on vacation just about 40 minutes ago. We have doubleheader basketball action for you next week. Tuesday night, Whitehall, Parkland. Friday night, Allen against Central. There you get a look at that right eye.
Geez, see that in a heavyweight fight. Looks like it just got knocked open. Oh, he just got a hit right there. Good camera work. Boy, Matt Sillenperry just plowed right into that scab. I think we'll see that open up a little bit later on in the bout. Something to look forward to.
You seem to take a little too much pleasure in that. Beginning to worry about it.
I just appreciated the camera work.
Rich and Cindy on camera.
Yeah, there it is. That blood's starting to drip.
No score first period. That's our third scoreless first period of the night.
And the history of this rivalry, if you were wondering, these two teams have met 44 times. Easton has won 34 of them. So it really hasn't even been close. 34-7-3, Easton leads.
Sillenperry leads 1-0 on the escape. Hey, the freshman's not intimidated at all.
He really is, and then coming out in front of a big crowd like this.
In fact, Eric's already piled up a 5-2 record here early in the season.
Of course, only one of those in dual meets. He was against Central Catholic. Warning for stalling against Thompson. As Easton, for the first time in a long time, recorded a shutout over Central Catholic. Central Catholic maybe got hit the worst by graduation last year. They just got hammered. They lost everything. They really just lost everything.
62-0 is the score in the dual meet. Nazareth's only dual meet against Pocono Mountain. I don't have that score at my disposal. I don't know whether you have it, no? Blue Eagles won.
So most of the records for both teams coming from their respective tournaments. Easton goes to a tough tournament, the Mannheim tournament, the last week of December. Thompson lost his balance there. Around the edge of the mat. Gets a 2-point takedown for Sillenperry. He won't get back points over there. He has to bring him back on. You got to pin him on the white. You can't pin him on the blue.
They'll get no back points.
Both shoulders got to be in there.
Yeah, see, that tie does get loose the whole night. It really does. I just think his neck gets longer. That tie has not been tight all day, I can guarantee you. There's the escape by Thompson. He trails 3-1. Off the mat they go. Easton leads 22-10. And Ray Nonamaker, there he is. His tie is tight as it was since we started.
Never can tell what's going on the mat by looking at Ray Nonamaker. No control. There's no control there. No takedown given. No control.
There you get a look at the eye. I don't know, that just makes him look a little tougher. He's a strong kid.
He really is, especially for a freshman. You got to figure him to be a football player as well. He's just a big, big guy.
5 seconds now, second period, 3-1. Thompson trails against Sillenberry. Looking back in the center, just simply blow the whistle. We're going to have an injury time. I was just going to say, you know, he hasn't even asked for any, and he didn't ask for this one. Gene Wass is the guy asking for the injury time.
Well, Gene's a little squeamish. Got to wipe that up when Gene's out there.
I think Gene just wanted to come over and talk a little bit. Gives us a chance to remind you once again about making your holiday season a memorable one with a little help from Bob's Flower Shop. For thoughtful holiday gift ideas, Christmas centerpieces, live and silk arrangements, or musical ornaments to add to that special touch of holiday cheer, Bob's Flower Shop has a full staff of helpers to find a gift for that special someone. Delivery is available for your convenience, and phone orders are welcome. Or just visit 1214 Main Street in Northampton. The entire staff of Bob's Flower Shop wishes you a safe and happy holiday season. Back to the action. Final 2 minutes, 152 pounds. The escape by Thompson. He trails by 1. It's 3-2 Sillenberry.
Matt, the younger brother of Anthony Sillenberry, the outstanding heavyweight for the Blue Eagles last year, doesn't look too much like him, does he? Holy mackerel.
Just a little lighter. Takedown. Sillenberry, he leads 5-2.
Sillenberry last year on JVs, we keep mentioning those outstanding JV records. Sillenberry 18-2 last year as a JV.
Highly unusual to see a freshman at this weight class. And he has been impressive. Eric Thompson with the escape, trails 5-3.
It's a good match for Eric against Matt because they're both about the same ability level. It looks like a real good matchup. He's not going to come out here in front of a big crowd and get blown out. Certainly, even if he gets pinned right now, he's made a good account of himself.
And he's thinking about winning. He's not thinking about pinning or being pinned. Off the mat they go, 5-3. Steve Powell hustles back to his chair. Easton has won the last 3 weight classes. Nazareth trying to stop the run. 35 seconds. The legs are in. No.
The knees hit out.
Very simple. The knees hit out, although the toes were still in. As soon as the knees hit the blue, he's out.
No complaint from Ray Nonemaker.
That rule is the same for those of you that follow wrestling. The rule is the same as for the collegiate. It's called the exact same way.
Take another look.
Right there, you can't actually see the knees come down. The knees bounced down, and then he came up on his toes. Thompson in on the leg. He'll get the takedown. All right, at 5-5.
Given. We're going to stay at 5-5. Stay right here. Ray Nonemaker is up. It looked like Gene Wass was going to give a point. He called it off. This ends in a 5-5 draw. Our second draw of the evening. And now you see Gene explaining to Ray Nonemaker. In all honesty, Scott, if he gives the one, he has to give two to Thompson.
I would think right at the end, if we get another look at that, the last 10 seconds, I think you're right. I think there was control after the takedown, although even that could be questionable.
I'm not sure if we're going to get another look. We will. But you're going to have a draw here. And oddly enough, the Nazareth fans are going to boo this situation. But I believe that if you give the escape, you're going to have to give Thompson a takedown. He had control at the end of the bout.
I think he did. I think he did. He was spinning and spinning, and he had the leg trapped, and he was inside the arm. The score now 24-12, as you see. Here's the last 10 seconds.
Now you be the referee. Now watch Gene Watts. He thinks about giving one. Right there. He doesn't hold the finger up. Now, does it end? Oh, maybe not.
He wasn't out completely. Although it can be argued that Eric Thompson did lose control briefly.
And I'm not sure Thompson got control back, so I'll renege on my analysis there. I don't think Thompson would have gotten the two. Here we go, 160 pounds. Rich Dugan, a senior, 0-0 on the year, 0-1 last year. Mark Matson, a sophomore, 3-2 on the year.
Matson beat Dugan last year, 8-6 in the JVs.
You know, one of the complaints early on this year is in some of the matchups, the big matchups that have occurred already this year, that the bouts have been kind of dull. We have not had that here tonight.
And I think the crowd adds a lot to that. They're reacting to everything. But, of course, the wrestlers have just come out and opened up. And you don't see that out of young wrestlers, first-time varsity wrestlers. They come out, and they normally don't open up. And I expected boring matches this year because we got a lot of young guys. It hasn't happened here. Greg Geiger's bout was very exciting. Brian Nonemaker had an excellent bout. Chad Feichel looked fabulous. Torrey Bergio opened up. Steve Calandra looked real good. And the last bout went right down to the last second. It's been very exciting.
Dugan trying to come around. Matson, Mark, the brother of Danny, trying to fight him off.
Working for the butt drag. He doesn't have it yet. Now he's trying to post the arm on the near side. There he's got it posted, needs to spin by. He's got it working. Needs to trap the leg as he goes. Needs to trap the leg. There it is.
Takedown by Dugan. Dugan leads 2-0. We'll be right back.
He was paid to watch her every move, every day, every night. But though he was hired to watch, now he's tempted to touch. Andrew Stevens and Tanya Roberts caught up in an affair too hot to handle, a lie too big to hide, where each caress leads them deeper into danger and further into ecstasy. Night Eyes, just when you thought no one was watching. For one very steamy movie, order Night Eyes at home on Viewer's Choice pay-per-view.
Car.
I'm Sam Rosolino. My family and I welcome to Palmer Nursery. Want to light up Palmer Park Mall.
With over 20 years' experience, the Palmer Nursery is backed with honor by the Rosolino name because our family cares about quality. Right now, we have a wide selection of fresh-cut Christmas trees, wreaths, grave blankets, ribbons, garland, and spectacular poinsettias. Our shop is filled with holiday and gift ideas. Come visit us and have a happy holiday.
Join Aunt Patsy, Professor Bob, and friends for